On YouTube, welcome. So glad to have you here. I posted a poll earlier today asking what the pressing relationship issues are for you in your life right now, in your marriage, in your relationship, or what's just burning on your heart right now that I can be of service around. And so I want to go ahead and address the most common response that I got in our email. I'm just moving my screen so that I can see your comments. If you're here live, post a comment, like the video, give me a little heart so that I know that you're here, that you're watching this, if this content is useful for you. We're going to talk about disconnection. That was the item that had the most responses today of the survey that I threw up there. If you have other things that you want me to address, please feel free to write that in the comments or in the survey. Write down what it is that you would like me to address. The point of this group here on Facebook is to give you really high quality content about how to change your relationship and how to change your life. If you've been here a while, you know this isn't about tips and tricks. This is about identity change. This is about changing your perspective, your belief structure, shifting how it is that you show up in your life, because when you do that, your life changes. That's just how it works. It's science. It's not magic, right? And you know, it's easy for me to forget that because I work in it. And I work with women who are showing up every single day and getting their extraordinary results. Today, I just got off a call, one of our group calls from my 8-week program with a woman who is getting ready to graduate. And she said to me, and I am roughly quoting here, I wrote it down. She said, I could not have imagined that I would be at the place that I am right now in my relationship just 2 months ago. You know, when she started with me, she was in a place where she's like, I don't know if I should stay married to this person. Do I stay? Do I go? You know, they have kids that they're raising. She's in her 40s. Like, is this really the time that I want to shift things? And she did not even realize how she was doing the very thing to create the suffering that she was experiencing every single day in her relationship. And until I got my fingers into how it is that she was showing up, only then was she able to kind of back out and see what it was that she was doing that wasn't working. And, you know, I'm having that experience right now. I just hired a health coach to work with me to hit some goals that I have. And so I'm doing all these things like weighing my food and counting my macros and exercising in a really particular way. And what it's illuminating for me is very much like the women who I mentor. It's illuminating for me. Sorry, there's glaring light right there. How it is that we don't know what we don't know until we're in a relationship with somebody who can point it out to us, right? And so, like, I had no idea how much fat I was eating every day. I love fat. My husband knows that. It's sort of a joke in our family. Like, I will put mayonnaise, avocado mayonnaise on like anything. And it's amazing, right? Like, who doesn't love fat? I know some of you don't. Peanut butter? I love peanut butter. Cheese? Like butter? I'll just eat straight up butter, straight up. You start counting your macros and you're like, holy moly, I was eating 2 avocados a day. I was eating half a stick of butter with this, you know? And there's nothing wrong with fat. I'm fine with fat. I'm just doing something really particular for my health right now. And so having somebody in my life who's looking at what it is that I'm doing, and then to be able to recognize, oh my gosh, for my entire adult life, I've been doing the very thing that's going to prevent me from getting the outcome that I want. And I had no idea that that was the case, or didn't want to believe it because I love my fat so much. And so now I'm changing that. And similarly with my client, she had no idea that she had been thinking and feeling and doing and believing certain things every single day that were creating more disconnection in her relationship, more suffering internally in her own self. And until she had someone, me, in there to mirror up what she's doing that's not working, things couldn't change, right? And so there's so many awesome parts of what I do. Hi, Jen, nice to see you here. But one of my favorite parts of what I do is I get to see real change in real women like you who decide to commit to a process. And when we decide to commit to a process, things change. And again, I'm on the receiving end of it right now with my fitness person. And when I had my call with her to see if she was a good fit for me, she was like, absolutely, we can get your outcome. And I'm like, how can you get me my outcome? There's no way. I've been trying to do this forever. So great for me to be on the receiving end, because this is what women say to me as well, right? Like, I've tried everything. And I said to her, I've tried everything. Nothing has worked. She's like, it's just science. Like, you have to do your part, which is what I'm doing and why it is that I'm doing, weighing my food and doing all the things that I need to do. But then it's just science. You have to get your outcome. And similarly, and I'm going to get back to disconnection here in just a minute. Similarly, when you apply what I teach, you can't not get your outcome. You have to. It's science. When you change how you think, how you feel, how you do, how you believe, when you start shifting your perspective, your perception changes, period. Right? And so with my fitness lady, I'm following the map that she gave me, and I'm a good student. So I'm following it to a T, and I'm starting to get results. And I'm like, what? This is crazy. How am I getting results so quickly? Which is what women say to me as well. So let's talk about disconnection. I wanted to highlight that piece because I think it's easy for us, especially when we're, in the social sciences or soft science, to think like, this won't work for me. Well, it won't if you don't do it. Just like if I'm not weighing my food and if I'm not working out, I'm not going to get my outcome. Like, it's just not, right? But I'm following a map and a really clear strategy in order to get an outcome. And similarly for you, and in relationship, we can't dabble. Like, I can't, weigh my food 3 days a week and not the other 4 days. It doesn't work that way. And that's actually why it is that most of the things that you try to do kind of on your own are less effective, is because there's this dabbling thing that's happening. So we try it for a day or two or a week, and then we stop. And similarly to fitness or health or running a marathon or losing weight or, building more muscle or going back to school, like it's anything at all. If you study for a week and then stop for 2 weeks, if you do your exercises for a week and then you stop, you're not going to get the results. And so, the women who choose to step in and work with me, they are committed. Like, I'm committed to my physical health. As I'm getting closer to 50, there are certain things that I want to accomplish that are just my own things. And so I'm willing to invest in having somebody hold that structure that's proven, so I can get my outcomes. So it's totally possible. It's 100% dependent on your interest, ability, and willingness to commit to your dream, whatever your dream is. And if your dream is around being more connected, let's talk about how we make that happen. For those of you who don't know me, my name is Jenny Glick. I'm a licensed marriage and family therapist. I'm an ASEX certified sex therapist in this space. I'm a transformational relationship mentor. I change my title sometimes because I can call myself whatever I want in here, which is kind of fun. It's like magic. And what I do is help women get on the lifestyle of transformation, because living a life of transformation, it's a lifestyle thing. Again, very much like physical health, right? When I hit my goals, which I know I will with the woman who I'm working with, if I just stop, I'm going to go right back, right, to where I was. It's a lifestyle if I choose to keep it. I don't have to. We always have free will. That's so important for all of you to understand. We're always living at choice. I 100% can choose to follow my macros or not. I'm choosing to right now. Similarly, the women who I mentor, when they come in, the first thing that we do is we look at, what is your goal? Where are you trying to get? What do you want to experience instead of what you experience now? And we look at, okay, do you want to experience joy? Mostly it's like joy, ease, connection. Those are usually the top 3 with their partner and with themselves. And I noticed too in the survey, a lot of you feel disconnected with yourself. Not surprising, right? Because if I'm disconnected here, I'm going to be disconnected out there too. So that's where we start, is what is it that you're wanting? And then we need to line up what you're doing, thinking, feeling, believing, perceiving every single day in order to get that. What that requires for many women is to have someone to help point out to them what they're doing that they don't even see, right? I did not see that all the avocado I was eating was a problem for me to get to my outcome, because who doesn't love avocado, right? I love avocado, and I could eat 3 in a day, and then half a stick of butter, and then, keep adding it on. And if I don't see it, or if I don't want to believe it, which is probably really more the truth, then it's not, I can't change it, right? And so if you feel disconnected with your partner, then my assumption, if you're over here and you feel disconnected, then you want to feel connected. Totally makes sense. Who do you need to be to feel connected? How do you need to show up? How do you need to be available? What do you need to think? What do you need to feel? The women who've worked with me, who are in this program, in this experience, right, who've graduated, they know this. And so please feel free, those of you who've graduated, if you're here, chime in below, because it's a process of getting a lot of clarity on who this identity of a woman who's connected is going to be. And here's the thing. It is not a destination, just like life. There's nowhere you're trying to get. It's a lifestyle. If you want to be connected with your partner, you need to start practicing a lifestyle of connection. What the hell does that mean, Jenny? Well, I will tell you. A lifestyle of connection means that you're showing up available. And if I'm available, I'm open. If I'm available, I'm vulnerable. I also have boundaries. I am not dragging around my emotional suffering from 6 years or 6 months ago, because then I'm not available for connection. What I'm available for is to tell you how you're doing something wrong. What I'm available for is to continue nursing on my suffering and my scarcity. And it's a real kind of come to Jesus experience. Can I use that phrase? I'm going to use that phrase, if that's okay in here. To really own, what is it I'm available for? Because if I'm spending a lot of my time being available for chaos, drama, to be angry, to be at war, to be at battle, that's not going to go so well, right? Well, it's not going to go well for connection. If I'm walking around looking for all of the reasons why it isn't working, I will find it. You will find whatever you're looking for. Absolutely. Absolutely. And I know that for some of you, this might seem super Pollyanna, like, well, why is it all my thing? And how come they don't have to, and it's that the big you get to be in charge of your perception and your perspective. And if you've chosen a person who doesn't feel like they're a good person because you don't feel as connected as you'd like to feel, and if you are literally living in the highest potential of who you can possibly be, if you're showing up as that version of you, and if you feel complete in your relationship, then bravo. You might be complete in your relationship, and then you can take whatever that next course is. But, and I mean course of action, not training. And so really take a look at yourself in terms of connection. How connected are you with yourself? Are you running and rushing around? Many of the women who I work with, they put themselves like way down low on the list. Everybody else comes before them. Work, kids, volunteer, house, dogs, cats, everything. And if you're disconnected from yourself, you're going to be disconnected from your partner, right? It's just how it goes. make up the rules to life. I just know how it goes. So I'm here to tell you how it goes. And then you get to decide what you're going to do with those rules, right? So take a real inventory around how it is that you're showing up, what you're available for. And you might do the thing, you know, I love talking about pie charts. You might do the pie chart thing where you make a pie chart and then what percentage of the time are you available for love, connection in a real way? You're not overworking. You're not hiding behind your computer, on your phone, hiding behind anger, resentment, hiding in a story of being a victim to something. Like, how are you really available for a connection? And get really clear with yourself. And it might be that you are super available for connection. It might be that the door is wide open. Awesome. So then the next part would be to look at if you've chosen somebody who is not interested in connecting, right? So that's interesting, right? I use this example, having worked with couples for so long that, you know, it was always somebody would come into my office who, for example, hated smoking and they married a smoker. Super interesting, right? Like, that's fascinating. That's going to set up a really interesting dynamic of pushing and pulling and righting and wronging, or somebody who wants to have kids and somebody who doesn't want to have kids, somebody who wants an open relationship, somebody who doesn't want an open relationship, right? These moments of contrast provide us with a really important opportunity to be in the challenge of life. And the art, and what I teach the women who I mentor, is how to be in the challenges of life without contributing to your own suffering or the suffering of others. So how do I be in the challenge of, oh, I want to be over here in connection, but I'm living over here in disconnection? That's a challenge. There's a contrast there, right? So what do I need to do in order to walk myself over to here? How do I need to show up? How do I need to think? How do I need to feel? What is it that I don't see that I need to see? Who in my world talks about this stuff who could help me, right? Just pay attention. And maybe that's me. And if that's the case, I'll give you some information on how to reach out to me to see if we're a fit. But if you want to go from here to here, the challenge is to look at, what is it that I need to do? What's the map? Like for me with my health, I want to get from here to here. I don't know how to do it. If I did, I would have done it by now. I'm going on 48, right? Would have done it. I don't know how. So I found somebody who knows how. I watched her for a long time. I found her online and I read her stuff and I watched her for a long time. And then I reached out to her and said, I think you might be able to help me. And she was like, oh girl, I totally can. Right? So I found someone who has a map to get me from here to here, because I don't know how to do it, because me eating avocados does not get me there. Right? And you looping, I would venture to guess, I could be wrong, looping in an internal narrative around how your partner's wrong, not good enough, blaming them, nursing on anger, frustrated, feeling overwhelmed, feeling uncertain. Again, all of those things are normal, but if that is what you're practicing and if that's what you're anchoring in, then you're going to feel not only disconnected from your partner, but disconnected from yourself, because you're also probably not taking care of yourself, right? You're probably not meditating or taking long walks or sitting in silence or reading poetry or doing the art that you love or whatever sorts of hobbies that you have. And so paying attention to that whole constellation of practices, that's an identity, right? And when we commit to living in the highest possible version of ourselves, and those are the women who I choose to work with, are the ones who say, we're not going for perfection, but I'm interested in living in the highest possible version of me. Beautiful. Those women, right, learn how to pivot and come back over and over and over again. And so the couple of things, if you're feeling disconnected, take an inventory of what connection looks like, feels like, behaves like, what the perspective is. And then see, how are you measuring up? How are you amplifying, broadcasting, demonstrating that in your life, in your world, right? If you feel like you're all the way over here in disconnection land and you want to be connected, what are you willing to do to make that happen? Right? There are books, there are, I have dozens of videos you can watch, and every day write posts 5 days a week that you can read that tell you, explain to you, pretty much map out what I do. You can commit to make that happen. Again, it's like my fitness lady. She says everything that she does, but I want someone to tell me exactly how to do it for me, because I'm not going to hold myself accountable when it comes to avocado. I'm just not. I need someone else to say, we got to pump the brakes on the avocado. You can have some avocado, but you don't need to eat all of the avocados, right? And so there are lots of ways to get from point A to point B. I want you, those of you who said that you feel disconnected, commit to connecting to yourself and then following the map. A few of you have the map already. And if you have the map already, then use the map. If you've done it before, do it, right? If you're someone who needs accountability, find a way to get accountability. With me, my whole game is about accountability, right? I can't make you do it, but I will show up and encourage you every step of the way and tell you how much better it is on this side. And you'll have other women, like the woman in my program who's graduating soon, who's like, I can't even believe how different I am. And I'm like, what's so awesome is our group calls are recorded, so you can go back and listen to who you were 8 weeks ago and see how different you are now, right? Disconnection always starts with being disconnected from yourself, and then it is amplified by what you're spending so much time in your head doing, and what you're spending so much time in your heart and your emotional frequency doing. So I hope that's helpful. Type in the chat below, the comments below, any takeaways that you have, any questions that you might have about this. This space here is for women who are interested in being fully accountable in their lives. And so if you have women friends who you feel like any of this content will speak to, feel free to invite them in this space. It's free. I do these videos once a week. Ish, and then I post 4 or 5 times a week as well. And the point is to be so transparent about what I do. It's not some cloak and mirrors thing, and it's not magic. It feels like magic, but when you show up every single day and you have expert wise mentorship and you have a community, you can't not get your result if you are doing your part of the work. It's just how it goes. And connection is something that we can absolutely heal in a relationship. It starts with you. And it might mean, and I'm speaking to some of the women in here who you might be in a relationship with somebody that absolutely is unwilling to connect with you for whatever reason. Maybe it's some sort of addiction issue, maybe it's mental health issue, maybe it's something else. And then it's recognizing, okay, if I want to have that kind of relationship, am I going to get it from this person? One of my dear friends used to say, stop going to the hardware store for milk. Yeah, you're never going to find milk at the hardware store, and you're just going to get super aggravated. And a lot of the women who I work with, they don't know, they're not sure. Can I get milk from this particular hardware store that I'm in? I'm not sure if I can. And so we do this process through the 8 weeks in order to help you get clarity on you, right? So that you can move forward really standing on your internal knowing. And you can make decisions from that place, decisions that are discerning about your life rather than reacting to what's happening around you. So I hope that this has been of service to you all. Thank you so much for being here. I will put some information in the comments above about how to connect with me if you're on Facebook, if it's on YouTube below. If you are interested in learning more about what I do during my 8-week private relationship mastery experience. Thanks so much for being here. Have a wonderful afternoon. Post any questions that you might have in the comments and I will circle back and answer them for you. Bye.